Hello everyone, welcome to Trade. Today we're going to be seeing the trade review for 5th and 6th of Jan using CPR, how we could have taken trades, and the 2 days were beautiful. This is the price action for 5th and 6th. We will be dissecting it and I'll be explaining in detail today's and yesterday's. See, firstly the CPR, if anybody wants to learn more about the CPR, there's a video on my channel. Just click on my the Trade YouTube channel. You'll see the first video as a banner. You can view it, and this CPR indicator is freely available for everyone in TradingView. You can just type in CPR and you won't get the same indicator. It will take some time, but there are many hundreds of indicators where you have the CPR values. It is just calculated values, right? So nothing big about the CPR value itself. See, on Thursday, though being an expiry day, people kind of expected the market will be sideways or a bounce because we had already had a nice dip on the downside, right? But our plan was, we got a pretty flat opening. Our plan was to short the moment this low breaks, right? And we got a pretty flat opening towards the CPR. These three lines are the CPR, central pivot range, which also can act as a support or resistance during our intraday trades, right? So the moment we saw this rejection at the CPR, we were on the bearish side, and we got a confirmation when kind of this trend line broke with this big candle and the previous day low broke. The best entry, couple of best entries were there, good entries. It's not that a best entry like any trader would take the exact same entry. Some people would have entered here itself with keeping the CPR as stop loss on this candle and keeping the CPR level as the stop loss. The best entry was when this previous day low broke. Obviously it was a nice move on the downside, right? So even if you had entered here, your stop loss would have been this level, right? Or wait for a retest. The retest came at this candle, and according to me this was the best entry, the short entry of the day. Not necessarily everybody would have taken the same entry, right? People would have entered in different. People would have entered when S1 broke. People would have entered when CPR got rejected. But according to me, this was a nice entry with stop loss as this previous day low itself. Stop loss meaning if any candle goes above this, see, the market will always do what it wants to do, right? So if any candle go above this and closes, then we will have to exit from the short trade. So with this as the stop loss, an additional thing apart from this is even the 20 MA. If you put on the 20 MA, since this is only the CPR video, but let me just show you an example. Like you put in EMA, there was a nice retest of the 20 MA. So this is how we use multiple things to decide on a trade. See, I just added the 20 MA and there was a beautiful retest of the 20 MA. The entire day we remained below 20 MA. And obviously once we break previous day low, the CPR levels are the target. First one is S1, the second target is S2. And see, most of the times, I can say even 80% of the times the price, if they dip or go up, we will hit S1, S2. Breaking out from R3 and S3, the support 3 and R3 is not a very usual behavior. I mean, something, it would be a news driven move, like there would be some news associated with the stock or indices to break R3 and S3. Now this was on 5th, though it was a nice expiry day, we had a nice move. Even shorting after S1 broke with S1 as stop loss, the stop loss would have never hit, right? Like if you check now, say in this candle we broke S1, came retested. So on this red candle, if we had taken an entry, and what are the targets based on CPR, we'll keep stop loss as S1 and targets are S2. And if S1 is pretty wide, 50% of S1 and S2. How you can get the exact 50% is by using a simple fib like this. You'll get the exact 50% level. That can be the first target and second target as S2. Now for Friday, okay, we had if you had seen my Friday analysis, it was quite obvious that we were expecting some move on the downside, right? but our entry was, we were kind of following this trend line, because even previously we took resistance here, right? So beautiful on this candle. There was a nice entry because we rejected the CPR. We rejected the CPR here and started moving down. Obviously this was a very nice consolidation. That's pretty much what we shared in a group. We didn't expect such a big down move after the consolidation. We were expecting a short target of 42,000, but some extended targets did come. That is, see, this consolidation, let me remove CPR. Even if somebody doesn't use CPR, this breakdown, if somebody is a trader, they would have easily captured it. There's no doubt about that. Why? It was kind of a nice flag and pole that was breaking down. You can keep a flag and pole like this. It was a nice, like a flag and pole on a bearish side breaking down, and then we had a nice dip. Obviously some recovery came in the end, because the bank nifty is falling from quite some time, so some bounce on Friday and people probably wanted to book some profit. So the moment this S1 broke, again there was a good entry. At least here we could have placed a stop loss at previous day low, and the target was 50% of S1 and S2 and the S2 of CPR. Though we didn't touch the CPR itself on the daily CPR, though it was missed by few points, but when we see a candle like this, right, a good strong candle after a fall, wherever we had shorted, we should have exited, because price action is paramount. CPR levels are just what do we say, the levels based on previous day values, right? So the moment we see some kind of a strong candle like this and we are in a good profit, definitely we will have to exit the trade. But otherwise, again, see, one of the CPR setups is that if the price goes near the central pivot range, there's a good chance it might reverse. If it breaks, it will go further higher. So twice, we have examples right here on the chart, right? On this day, we reversed from R1, we broke CPR, came down. Over here, there was a nice reversal. See, here we broke CPR, here we reversed exactly from CPR, and it reverses exactly most of the time from the pivot. See, even on this day, even you can do some back testing, this works beautifully. And even here we touched the pivot in the morning and then had a down move. So this is what we could have traded based on the CPR as well for the 2 days, and my analysis for next week will be coming up soon, probably by tomorrow. And thank you for watching.